Good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who do not know me, I'm 48 years old, married with 2 kids, a 3-year-old son, Ansel, and a 22-month-old daughter, Aline. Here at CTDI, I'm part of the international team. I manage our business in Asia Pacific. I like my job, but I love my family. What I'm here to talk about is importance of priorities. Setting priorities, getting your priorities straight, and rather do it now, don't wait. Sometime in 2013, I found myself sitting at some rural airport somewhere in Pennsylvania, scheduled to fly somewhere for a customer meeting. So as I'm sitting there with my laptop in front of me working on something, I receive a call from my sister in Germany. And she's telling me that our father had been diagnosed with cancer, and with a form of cancer where usually you have maybe a year, 2 years left. In a way, my father was actually responsible for me sitting there in rural Pennsylvania. Ever since I was a very small kid, my father had taken us traveling around Europe, around the world. In a way instilling in myself, but also in my sister, this desire to be somewhere else, to see some parts of the world, to meet different people, have a different experience. But not only did he instill this desire to be somewhere else, maybe than in Germany where I grew up, he also had always supported me throughout my school years, throughout my university years, financially and morally. So at that point in time, I had been here in the US for about 6 years. I came over for a job. And those 6 years I had spent working. I mean, my main priority in those years was doing the job and building a career. So I really spent very little time with my family, with my father in this case. Odd phone calls, you see each other once, twice a year for a few days, but that's it. So getting this news, I mean, obviously, I mean, one would expect it gives you a good reason to pause and to reconsider what is really important and where should your priorities be. And it did so for a short period of time, yes. So my father went into a surgery, he came out of the surgery, and his prognosis was good. So I guess that's sort of what it triggered for me. It was like, oh, okay, you still have time again. So I fell back in this old habit of prioritizing work over family. A good year later, end of 2014, he had to do those follow-ups. In one of those follow-ups, they found a tumor in his liver. And so they tell him, okay, he needs to go into another surgery, get this part of the liver removed, and get this tumor analyzed. That surgery was then in early 2015, and I assume that based on that the surgery in 2013 went well, we were more concerned about what they might find and what it might mean for us and for him in the future than about the surgery itself. So unfortunately, my father's case turned out to be one of those where the liver, good chunk of your liver gets removed, and if the liver doesn't recover, then it doesn't recover. So he came out of the surgery. I was lucky enough, I was there, got the chance to speak with him for a little bit, but then over the next few days, his situation did not improve. And then the doctors at some point in time told us, hey, there's nothing we can do there, just a few hours left, and that's it. So again, lucky enough we were there, but I remember obviously vividly that night where on the one hand side you're devastated, but on the other side I also felt really ashamed, I have to say. I mean, there was this one person who had given a lot to me, and I had spent many years, the last years, probably more thinking about myself than about what I could give back. So I'm not saying in that night, because it wasn't like this. It wasn't like this. In that night, I decided I need to change something. It really only happened a little later in my life. The same year, September, our son is born, and then a little while later, in the beginning of 2017, our daughter is born, and then that really helped me to recalibrate in a way. This is I do enjoy my job, and I'm not saying this because my boss is sitting here. I do enjoy my job. I like putting hours into it. I still like the traveling part of it. It's part of who I am, who I want to be. But what I took away from this really is, on the one hand side, I'm very thankful for what my father did for me and how he helped me. On the other side, I want to make sure that I can give this back to my family, and I want to make sure I don't make the same mistake again of getting priorities wrong. When we did the rehearsal here 2 weeks back, I think it was, I think you said this is maybe a story about balance, work-life balance, and in a way it is, yes, absolutely. But I think it's more. I think, again, I think it's about priorities. And in a way, I think all of us here, we want to be successful. And with successful, I don't mean just making money or having a nice career. It's really doing things you enjoy. One of the things I enjoyed about this course was hearing all those different stories and hearing about what people are passionate about. And that's what I mean. You're passionate about something, sort of this is what you want to do. We all have to realize our resources are limited. Yeah? We can't do everything. This is why it becomes so important to figure out what's important to you and set those priorities and get them straight. Now let me take this is a CTDI event. Let me take this back a little bit to CTDI. I think what makes companies, but also people, or what distinguishes successful companies and people from others is really the ability to prioritize and to stay focused. And I think we can all agree CTDI is a successful company. And I'm sure there are many reasons for why CTDI is successful. But one of the things that stands out to me is this. I hear it a lot from Leo. I don't know who has the copyright on it, but it's this. KPIs are our center gauge as CTDI. So what does such a statement do? For me, on the one hand side, you're setting priorities, or CTDI is setting priorities. You're saying, hey, performance matters to us maybe more than anything else. But you're not only setting priorities, you're also making sure you're getting your priorities straight by saying, hey, it's not just any performance, there are specific things we really need to focus on. And by repeating this message, but not only by repeating this message, really by applying it in our daily, weekly, quarterly reviews with internally and with customers, we make sure we stay focused on what we believe makes us strong. To me, this applies also in different settings. So it's not only for yourself, but I think you can also apply this to let's say any sort of teamwork you do, anywhere where you manage people. Help your team, help people to make sure they set priorities, make sure they set them right, and make sure they they stay focused. So you help them, you can help others to be successful. In a way, closing this again for me, I want to encourage all of you. Make sure you have some priorities. Make sure you figure out what it is, and it will be different for each one of you. Get your priorities straight. This is also very important, and stay focused. For some of us, this might come very natural. Great for those people. For the rest of us, we might have to work, we might need some help with this. I believe that at the end of the day, it will help each one of us to be more successful, and in my definition of success, be happier in your life. Thank you very much for your time.